workshop. I have created a presentations to go through each of the topics that are mentioned in detail. So for the YouTube videos that right now I'm creating the videos in my GitHub repository. This is my GitHub profile, and this is the GitHub repository, DevOps Lab. So as you can see, this whole repository is meant for as a manual. You can use it for the DevOps Lab. If you go to the repository, you will find all the experiments that are listed in the chronological order from experiment 1 to 12. So these are the description of each experiment and files that are present, how to build and run each experiment, and how to test them. So let me go to experiment 1. So here the readme is the same as that you have seen the readme here. The readme contains all the readmes combined from all the experiments and are populated in this single readme. So I have also created a PDF file. If you like, you can download it. It contains all the instructions from the readme. So let us start right now with the first experiment. Write code for a simple user registration form for an event. So this is the project folder, experiment 1. So the application has been written in Python. So that's the reason you see the app.py is the file where the application is written, which contains the Flask application and the roots and the logic of the registration form. We are going to use Docker file to run this application, and we have another file, docker.test, where you can verify if the application is working or not. We have created some tests for the application. As you can see, this file called test_app.py. So these are some unit test cases. So let us dive deep in. You can go to DevOps Lab, click on the code icon here. You could clone the repository using HTTPS, SSH, or GitHub CLI. For beginners, I would recommend open with GitHub Desktop. When you click on it, it opens the GitHub Desktop. So we also have a chapter to cover on this in the experimentation of the lab, Git and GitHub commands. So to have an understanding how the relationship between development and IT operations, so I've created a real world kind of scenario, a project. So this is the project. In this project, I have created different issues for all the experiments from 1 to 12. So right now we have experiment 1. I just added some more information just to make it look more practical. So in this experiment 1, I just added a few more information to say as a user story. As a user, I want to register for an event using a web form so that I can submit my personal details and get a confirmation if everything is current. So I will open my Visual Studio Code. So I have cloned the repository locally, and this is my project, experiment 1, and app.py is my Python application. So if you go to the README here or in the main README, you need to have the Docker desktop opened on your application in your computer. So this is my Docker desktop, and I copy the command docker build no cache -tag, the name of the Docker image, simple Flask, and dot to indicate to run in this particular folder. So if you copy paste it directly, it will not work because you are not inside the experiment1 folder. So for that you need to change the directory to experiment1, and then when you execute the command, it will start building the Docker image. Once the Docker image is ready, you can see the image is ready here. If you click on the image, it will just show you some information of the commands that are being present in this particular image. So next step would be to run the application. So copy the next command which is in the run section and paste it. Now you can see the Flask app is running. The environment is set to production. So we have now the host 0.0.0.0 and the port is 80. So if you click on this particular URL, you will see this warning. Click OK, open. So right now it doesn't work for 127.0.0.1. You need to change it to 0.0 and port 80. It will also not work. The reason behind, there is nothing being served in the default as an indexed. Everything is being served via in the register page. So this is the register route. You need to add the register route manually, and you say my name is akarshseggemu and my email is akarshseggemu@gmail.com, and password, I would say give some password. The password is not displayed to anyone. We click on register. No need to save. You can see registration successful. Welcome akarshseggemu. So this is how the outcome of the experiment 1 looks like. And there you can see first there was a GET request which is a 404 error which says nothing being found. When I changed from index to register route, you can see 200, which is the GET method where the form is being displayed. The next one is the POST method where the form has been submitted. Then you see the success page. So this is experiment 1. So let me go through the details of experiment 1. Let me minimize this one and open app.py. So in app.py we are importing from the Flask package. We are importing Flask request render underscore template. This is just a comment type ignore for the computer to ignore the type checkings. So we declare our app and use the Flask and use the double underscore name, double underscore and closing brace. This is the Python syntax to create an app using Flask, and we say @app and we say we are going to create a route and call it register. So that's the reason when you go to the host, the default index page, you don't see anything. Not found because the root is only present for register. So whenever the user requests register, it calls a get method. As you can see here, there is a get method. So that's why we define the method as get. And next we create a function called register. Inside this register, by default we are rendering the register.html. So in the templates folder you can see register.html. Let me copy path and open it up. You can open the same page here. You can see something Akarsh and the email and some password. You can write anything. If you click register, nothing happens because it is just a basic HTML. So as you can see, the register being displayed in the tab. That's the reason we have the title as register. So the doc type HTML declares it as an HTML5 document. In the body, we have defined the form upon submit. It uses the post method. We have the labels for all the 3 elements that you're seeing here. They are created using the label. So that's why, and we create for to say for which it is being created. So we have the next one is the input type, input fields. So we have 3 input fields for name, email and password. The types are different. We want to display the name as a text, so type, and the type checking is just to say it's a plain text. The next one is an email, so it has to check it's an input type of email. For example, if I say it doesn't work, so that's the reason it has to be confirmed in the format of an email. The next one is password. So as you can see, when I'm typing any letters or alphanumeric, you can see stars being displayed here. That's the reason for it. So let example, so yeah, we have to change the root. And the next one is a success. In success, you can see, let me type in again. You can type any password. There are no checks right now. You can see the tab being changed from register to success, and the page is being displayed here. So for example, if I copy the related path, and if I add it here, you can see in the same format but differently. The name has been not changed here. The name has been changed when we are running the Python application. So the data after we add name, email and password into the register.html, if they are correct, then it being sent into the success.html where we are only updating the name. So that's the reason you can see name is being displayed. If you go back, it works even if you don't type any password, because we do not create any kind of validation here. So and yeah, that's it. It is just a simple registration Python application. So once we complete our test, you can use Ctrl+C in order to exit the container. So if you go to Docker desktop, you will see the container being here present. If you want to run the container again, you can run the container, and you can inspect the logs. These are the logs from previously. So right now, if I again do like this, it works again. So if I go back and if I stop my container, the container is not running again. So if I click anything, I think because of cache it is displaying. So let me try using a cognito. So let me say 0.0.OTT and register. Yeah, you can see unable to connect because the container is not running. So you can run the containers in different ways. So you can run the container once you have created via the terminal or also from the Docker desktop. The next step, just to test the Flask application, we are going to run this command, docker build dockerfile dot test, and execute the command. It just takes some time to download all the required libraries and images. Once it is done, let me copy the run command, execute it. You can see test have been passed. It outputs as OK. So here you can see now I have another image. If I run this particular image, you can see it is running the tests. There are 2 tests, so it's sending you OK. Yeah, that's the experiment 1 right now. So you can add more things if you like to experiment 1. So here I have created a form just to make you extend this particular program further. You can also add JS scripts to and CSS. I've only created a basic HTML files here as a validation. So this is just for practice and experimentation. This is not required for the lab as per the syllabus. So that's it for right now. Just go through the let me go back, click on here, open it in a new tab. So go to the repository experiment and go to experiment 1 and try to follow the instructions that are mentioned here and execute it. Thanks for watching.